Good afternoon, YouTube. Hope y'all are doing well. No, I am having another great day in paradise. It's supposed to be cooling down, but still pretty hot. Hadn't rained in a couple of days, but the humidity's through the roof. So it's Georgia. Wait a couple hours, and I'm sure the temperature will change. Anyway, I'm working on something. I wasn't gonna film it just because it's tedious, but some of the results have actually turned out pretty cool, and I wanted to show them to you. So, all right. So y'all remember, I hope, the trip that I took to go get this Cincinnati Bickford radial drill, and a couple of things that bugged me about it. The sight glass here was broken, and you can see where it was leaking there, and all the way down onto the pedestal. We had leaking from the seal right here. But the other thing is just the paint job. I don't know if you can see it or not, but it was paint brushed on, and it is just gobbed everywhere. The places where they didn't hit, here's a blue and a baby blue, and then the battleship gray. And the other issue is this surface here should be a indicator surface, which means if you look, you can kind of see the hash marks in there. Well, I can't see them because they've painted over them. Same thing back here. There was a plate right here that was painted over. There's a plate here that has some painting on it. So it's just, if I'm going to have it in my shop, I want it to look good. So we started taking things off, like the sight glass, so that I could get a new one. We took these plates off so that we could polish them and try to get them looking better. We took this cover plate off, which had some information on it. This was cool though. Look at the navy blue. So at one time this machine was navy blue, and it was baby blue, and then battleship gray. But we decided to strip the machine, and so you can see I've already started stripping the top, and some really neat stuff. So, like I said, you can see the baby blue right there, but if you look up here, there's like a cream color. And we found some of the navy blue, and then you come over here, and there's right here, there's a light gray color. So we're thinking this thing has been painted at least 4 times, different colors. And not sure what we're going to go back with yet, but we're definitely going to make it look better than this. So for prep for this, we picked the machine up, put it on some 1x4s. We put this paper down all the way around it, especially back there to protect the 3-phase motor. This beats trying to haul this thing back outside. I can just do it here. So we did all that. We took off, like I said, the brass plates, the indicators, the things we didn't want to strip with a chemical. And I was thinking about taking, these handles off. But I'm going to try to do it with them on and see how well they clean up. If they don't clean up well, then I'll come back, I'll take them off, and we'll do it a different way. So, like I said, disassembled some, protected the floors, and then this is the product I used. I'm not sponsored by them, but another YouTube channel I watch, Keith Rucker with VintageMachinery.org, he redid a lathe in one of his episodes, and this is what he used. Citrus strip. It's a paint and varnish stripping gel. As you see, no harsh fumes, remove dried latex and oil base, strips multiple layers. And the good thing about this is, it's friendly to the planet. Alright, so we started out up here on the top, and I just poured some gel straight out of the bottle, a big glob of it up there. And then I just took a throwaway paintbrush and painted it all over it. Got a good coat on it. And that was about 10 o'clock this morning. And it's about 4 o'clock now. So I've let this sit for 4 to 6 hours. And this is what I came back to. You can kind of see it's turning kind of white, bubbly, wrinkly. Again, kind of see it on this. Here's a good example of what I came back to. You can see that down here, I haven't put any stripper. I have put it here. And you get that white kind of color. And like I said, that seemed to be the best time to start stripping it. So we just came in, we took a paint scraper. And I mean, it's coming off fairly easy. It works better if you can scrape down. Whoops, sorry. If you can scrape down. But it's doing a good job. Let's see. I mean, look at that. Won't come off my scraper. Sorry, I'm not trying to make y'all sick. Oh, there's a rust color primer. That's the first time I've seen that. So yeah, I mean, it does an amazing job. I'm not having to wear a respirator. I'm not having to wear, I could wear gloves. I probably should, but like I said, it's not causing any issues. It's coming right off. So a lot of different colors of paint on there. It's going to be a lot of work getting it off, but like I said, I've got to fix some problems with it anyway. And by stripping it, that's going to make it a little easier for me to do. And I think that'll work. So I'm going to set you up on the tripod, do a little bit of a time lapse as I do some of the work. And then I'll bring you back for a closing in just a little while. Alright y'all, so this is about half an hour worth of work. I don't know if you can tell a difference in it or not, but I can. It's still a little tacky, so I think the paint stripper is still actually working, but I'm actually very, very pleased with the results. It's by far not anywhere near ready to paint. So a couple of things. As you can see, I've taken a lot of the paint off of it. We've been working on it. It's still got a long way to go. I put the paint stripper on there and then realized I couldn't get in behind the handles and the levers. So as much as I didn't want to tear this thing apart, I actually ended up having to. So took all the levers off. I was going to have to take this one off anyway to get this cover off. It's got a gasket leak, so I've got to fix that. But some of the things we found while we were working on it, I'm actually glad we started taking it apart. Some things like taper pins that were holding the feed levers on were cracked, and when I knocked them out, they just fell into pieces. So those needed to be replaced. On this side right here, there's a electronic control for forward and reverse. And when I took it apart, actually one of the wires in that loom was broken. So I've got to replace that wire. But it turned out to be a good thing. The tubing, hold on a second. So this is that loom. As you can see, there's a white wire, a blue wire, And then there's this red wire that actually ties in, I don't know if I can, right there. And if you can see, it actually burnt. So I don't know if that was from heat or if it shorted out. But either way, this wire was going to have to be replaced. So that worked out pretty good. And then the tubing that the wiring was in is just all beat up. It's not the greatest thing in the world. So I'll probably replace all that. As we were stripping paint, we found another sight glass here that had been painted over. And of course the lenses are busted in it as well, so I've got to make new lenses for that. Let me grab the camera and I'll bring you in closer. So as you can see, this sight glass right here was painted over. You can see the lens broke out of it. But other things, little oil caps like that one were painted over. You can see we've got most of the paint off. We've still got a little bit up in here where I'm going to try to take that electrical conduit out. As you come over here, there's actually an oil service here that was painted over, and this one, that pin was missing out of that. I believe this is just for the stop that comes up, and it's like an emergency stop, so I need to figure out what's going on with that. So some things we found out that need to be fixed, and we wouldn't have found them if we hadn't done that. So glad we did. I was able, by taking some of it apart, I was actually able to see inside of it. When I get this cover off right here, I'll be able to see all the headgear up here, so I can make sure everything's free flowing. Clean it, because if you can see right there, all that is caked on oil and grease that has dried over the years, and it's nasty. You can see it on the back wall right there. So I've got to degrease all that, put new oil in it, get the oil glasses or sight glasses filled. We've still got the bottom of it to depaint and get cleaned up, and then we've got to wire it into actual power, and we'll check everything from there. But that's the progress so far. As I said, I've been working on this off and on for a couple of weeks. It's not going as quick as I'd like. I'm running out of time because I have 1,000 other projects that are beating on the door waiting to get done. But I shoot myself in the foot sometimes. I get started on something and I'll get distracted, or another urgent job that I've got to get done will pull me away, and I'll come back and find out things didn't work the way I wanted. I told y'all that I was using this citrus strip, and it actually works really, really good. It does a great job. The caveat to that is it does a great job if you paint it on there and then you take it off within 4 to 8 hours. It works great. Don't do like I did. I painted the entire arm and painted it at like 6 a.m. one morning, had plans to come back about 4 that afternoon and start scraping it off. And when I got back to scrape it all off, was actually about a week later, so it had dried. And when this stuff dries, it's worse than trying to get the paint off. Some of it flakes off, but it creates just a hard deposit, and basically you have to take a grinder with a wire wheel to get it off. So I shot myself in the foot by not making myself stick to the game plan and getting it done. And now I'm having to go back and regrind, or not regrind. Instead of stripping it with a scraper, I'm having to grind it off with a wire brush. It's taking a lot longer. So that's where we are with it. We'll see how things go from here, and hopefully they'll get better. Appreciate y'all watching. So this is what I'm talking about with it dry. You can see the paint stripper on here. You can see the multi-layers of paint. Some of it I can scrape off, but most of it is not coming off. It's kind of coming off as a powder, but it's not taking really big chips. You've got to dig into it, and it's not working. So I have to hit it with a wire grinder and get it done. It's going to take longer, but I'll get it done eventually. All right, so I think I'm going to call it on this one for right now. I've got a couple other things I've got to do, and this is in a state where I'm going to be waiting on some parts here shortly. So I'm going to step away from this. We'll do another segment on it when I get the parts in, as far as making the sight glasses, putting them in, possibly painting it. I think I've decided I'm either going to go, let me see if I can turn this around, with the kind of greenish gray that the Cincinnati is, or this lighter gray, battleship gray, that my do-all surface grinder is. Let me know what y'all think. Got a couple of new subscribers. Hope y'all are doing well. Appreciate you joining along. And we'll see where it goes. Hope y'all are having another great day in paradise. I know I am.